question.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know cognitiveSEO. It is a product which I know it very well because I work in this area, like digital marketing, and I know a lot of clients who want to use this product. I don't know if they use it like today. I want you to introduce your business. So when did you start the business, and how was it like 10 years ago?
Yeah. Approximately 10 years ago. So I started cognitiveSEO in 2010. The idea was born from my own pain point of I was doing SEO at the time, and I was at a point where I could create some tools that I could use my own, or I could create some tools, the same tools with a more beautiful interface that I could sell to other people. And I, after some analysis, I took the road that I took, and I created a team and implemented the project. It was a pretty tough ride because I initially estimated it would take 6 months to implement the project, and it took 1 year and 6 months. And we changed in the team like 20 people in that time frame, so it was pretty challenging. I had one day, I remember, when so we were 5, and 3 of the team members left. So yeah,
okay,
it was interesting.
You tell us your tough part of story, but tell us now the beauty of your business, because you work now with how many clients from?
We have over 1,000. We have over 1,000 users. The majority of the customers are from the United States, from the UK, from Germany, from Australia, from the Western world mostly. We also have customers in Romania, but it's like 1% the customers that we have. Our solution is a software as a service business. It's sold as a recurring subscription. It starts from $100 per month, and it goes up based on different the number of sites that you want to analyze, the number of keywords that you want to track, various metrics like this.
But you do SEO optimization, okay, for the site.
We are not an agency. We create the tool, and agencies come and use our tool, or professionals come and use our tools to improve their site or their client's site. So in order to best use the tools, you need to have a medium understanding of SEO, so you understand all the metrics there, because they can get pretty technical. And it's a pretty in-depth application with a lot of modules and a lot of analysis that can be done in order to move a site from position 10 to position 5. You need to do some research. And we launched at the end of 2000. So we started in 2010 in April, and we launched in December 2011 after 1 year and a half. And I remember the first month we had a landing page where we collected it was a teaser page where we collected email addresses of people that would be interested in our product. We had like 700 email addresses, and we sent an email to them to tell them that we launched.
Something like direct selling. Yeah?
Not
a meeting in a room.
Yeah, no.
But
everything online.
But
yes.
Tell us, how did you get to the US clients? How was it to get them?
So
weren't any other similar products on the market?
Yes, there were similar products, but you can do anything online. In my opinion, it really depends on how you approach the marketing direction of your product. So, for example, before we even launched the product, we got links from TechCrunch, for example, just by we did at the time an infographic. An infographic is like a long image with something, you explain something complicated in that image so people understand it easily. And we did an illustration about a big search engine in the United States, which was called Blacko. They got a lot of investment at the time, I know, $30 million or something like that. And in that illustration, we put the faces of the founders of the Blacko search engine, and we illustrated it pretty funny. And after we published it on our blog, I sent an email directly to the CEO of Blacko. I didn't expect him to reply, and I got a reply in like 10 minutes. And he said, "That's really funny. I'll send this to my PR agency," and it sent it to their PR agency, and in 1 hour it was published on TechCrunch and so on. So we got a link from TechCrunch like that before we were even live with the product. And people started coming on the blog. Some of them would leave, some of them would go and see what's this product about, and maybe they will leave their email address. And that's how we collected the email addresses from people from all over the world.
This is what we do this every day, collecting emails, addresses with our newsletter, promises or something else. How much did it counted the timing, the moment you launched this business and this product on the market?
I think timing is very, very important in any business, and in my situation it was good timing because at the moment there was only one tool online that was doing what we wanted. We ended up doing an in-depth analysis of the links, that is, and the investment was recovered in, I think, 1 year and a half.
And the investment was about?
The investment at the time was about $150,000 that I invested in 1 year and a half. Yeah.
This money came from?
From myself. So it was self-funded.
But you were fresh.
I was a fresh. I was working in the online business since I was in high school. So I've been doing affiliate marketing for quite some time.
Okay. Any exit or proposal for an exit in this?
I had some propositions, but I wanted to move further with. It wasn't satisfactory for me. Those propositions that I had until now.
Okay. I want to put just one question about brand mention, which is something like a startup.
Which is yes, it's a startup. It's a startup. We launched it actually today is 1 year. Actually, the birthday of 1 year since we launched the product commercially. It was an MVP for 1 year and a half before that. So it was a project that we created in 3 months to test the waters. What it does is a more simple product, and anyone with an online business can do it. So brand mentions practically allows you to monitor your company or your competitors on the internet and receive notifications when it appears in newspapers, blogs, forums, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, whatever, everywhere online. We also crawl the web, and we also use various APIs to aggregate all this data and provide a good stream and fresh stream of mentions for the company that you are monitoring. And
in 1 year, how many clients?
And in this year, in the commercial year, or in the MVP part, we had like 10,000 users that use the product for free.
Okay, for free.
They used it for free. Now, during this year, we had paying customers, about 600, that paid a subscription. It's not recurring customers that are now 600. That would be very good, but it's not the situation.
Okay. Maybe the public has any questions?
Is there a Brand24 competitor?
Yeah. So there are 2 competitors that we have, Brand24 and Mansion.com, which target the same segment that we want to target, the SMB segment. For the enterprise segment, that's a very developed market, and there are much more competitors there. But in the SMB segment, these are the only 2 competitors. and there is a newer one which was launched approximately when we launched the product. So
In
basically,
Romania, do you have anyone?
in Romania there is only for the Romanian market, but we cover the global market. In essence, it does the same thing. Google Alert does the same thing, but is similarly the same thing, because it's they don't cover the social part, Google Alerts, and they don't send you all the notifications. Plus, you don't have all the customizations there to be able to track how you can track in an application that is developed specifically for this. For example, I was in talks today with someone from the Grand Continental Hotels, and they had the issue they wanted to track only because in Iași, for example, there is Hotel Continental, but it doesn't. It's not part of their group of hotels, and they have this problem all over the world, and they want to be able to exclude automatically this kind of hotels. And we could set up in the system various exclusions and matches that would allow them only to track the Grand Continental hotels in Bucharest, in Sibiu, in Oradea, or whatever cities they were okay and wanted to track. So it's you can do a lot
Why
of.
should I choose brand mention and not brand 24? What's the differentiator?
The differentiator is the quality of the data. That's where it started 2.5 years ago. When I started testing the system, so I wanted to know everything that was going on online about cognitiveSEO and my competitors. And I tested various solutions, from the free Google Alerts to enterprise solutions to brand24 and mention.com. They were sending, and they are sending, in my opinion, obviously, good data also, but also they are sending all the old mentions that they report as being new. So they were sending me links from forums or blogs that they were saying disappeared, but it appeared 3 years ago. Or they were not sending mentions that actually appeared, and I know that they appeared because I was checking my own traffic, and that was the pain point that made me create this application, and I made the MVP to see if it's a viable product. My mistake was that I kept the MVP too long on the market. So we delivered this for free for the users, and it was harder for them to switch the mentality from a free product to a paid product.
How long did you?
So it was about 1.5 years, because we used the same team that we have at cognitiveSEO to develop this product. So if I would do it again, I would keep the MVP probably for 6 to 8 months. Obviously, there was a completely it was a completely different product that we launched, not the same. Yeah.
Sorry, I was asking one of the team who are presenting a pitch here.
Yeah.
How important? Why switch? And I want to ask you how important it is a brand for a business now that you know that you have to monitorize all the mentions in online.
Why it's important to do this?
And how important is for the business to have a unique name, a unique brand?
So you're asking, let me see if I understand correctly.
You've said about Continental. You
Yes.
have hotels, and we have this company who produce.
Okay. How
Yes.
important it is to have a unique brand
unique
name?
Brand, exactly.
Also, the brand mentions name. It's not a unique brand name. So brand mentions. It's also we are tracking brand mentions, but brand mentions is also the name of the product. So
yes.
it's a topic. It really depends. So you can have a brand like Orange and not have any problem. You have problems with tracking the brand. This is where we have the problem.
You have problem with tracking the brand
They
mentions in online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's tougher than if you have a brand name like Anis, which is rather unique.
Okay. Please.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, talked about crawling. What do
Yeah.
you do in situations where you're crawling websites that have restrictive crawling policies, for example?
In terms of they don't allow to crawl, or they allow
Or
to
they
crawl.
restricted. just
by robots.txt, or we try to respect the robots.txt, and that's where it may appear the different situations when a site doesn't allow you to crawl it and you can't report for that. Also, there are situations with Facebook which doesn't allow you to crawl personal pages, and for that, for example, you don't crawl the personal pages, you use APIs that do this for us and crawl on their part public pages and provide us with the data. So yes, we crawl what can be crawlable. We cannot crawl what cannot be crawled.
And do you pay like extended subscriptions for some APIs like Twitter? I mean, because I guess you're massive.
There are a variety of API providers in this industry. We don't use the official Twitter API. Okay, so there is an official feed from the Twitter. They don't sell it themselves. Someone else sells it, but we don't use that one.
How many people do you are?
We are a team of I think 13 people.
And they work also for cognitiveSEO and
Yes.
explanation?
At the moment we are together. So it's an umbrella company that produces both the products.
And how do you manage to retain your people with all the competition from the big corporations in Iasi?
It's a very big difference in terms of we are a bit different from the other companies here, mostly because most of the companies in Romania and in Iasi are doing outsourcing, and there are big companies which have a different culture. We differentiate by our culture and by the fact that the people that work here can put their hand on something that they can say that is something that I did, I'm there, and it's kind of mine. They have a direct implication.
And what do you think about the startup ecosystem from Romania?
It's in the beginning.
Okay, the very beginning.
It was in the very beginning, a couple of when I started.
Okay.
For example.
You were, yes, in the very beginning.
Yeah. But now I think that things are moving in a good direction, and people are starting to get more interested into this. But you need to start and do something in order to fail and succeed.
Some tricks to make a startup who will resist on the market.
There are no tricks or secret formulas.
Just working hard, no?
Have a good idea, and timing is very important. You can have a very good idea, but if you don't launch it at a good, not to say perfect timing, but a good timing, you would fail. Even the big startups that exist now, like I don't know, Uber or whatever, if they would have launched 15 years ago or 10 years ago, I don't know, they may not have the success because the market was not ready for this. So it's very important, in my opinion, time.
Have you ever thought to invest in a startup?
Yes.
Are you watching? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Tonight? One of the
I
five?
don't know. It really depends. Yeah, on the idea.
I have the list right here. Do you are you in discussion with some startup? You are just monitoring, or you are just thinking?
I did talk with some startup
So you're
founders.
a business angel now, like.
I'm not, because I haven't actually invested yet in any other startups that's not my own. But yeah, I'm open to.
In Iasi, or do you participate into events like this in other cities, or maybe?
Not very much, to be honest. I scrutinize the online world, and if I see something interesting, I try to get in touch.
Okay, this is an interesting.
So, for example, when a venture capital firm contacted me, I was very curious. I was in the beginning, and I was very curious how did they reach me, because I was pretty invisible, and they told me that they had a system that was monitoring the Alexa rankings, and the Alexa rankings in the United States is a metric that practically lists all the sites on the web and tells you're the first site, second site, third site, depending on the traffic that they think this site has, and they monitor it daily. And they saw a huge spike in like 700% from where we were to, and they got in touch with us after they researched the site and see what we were doing. So yeah, there are different methodologies to
all
find,
over the world.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Razvan, Gavrilas.
Thank you.
Cognitive SEO, very nice.